Hey everybody, Father Andy here. Welcome back to another 5 Minutes with Father Andy, your weekly peek into the happenings here at the parish. Okay, let's jump in for this weekend, November 9th and November 10th. So this weekend marks the 32nd Sunday in Ordinary Time, and all of our readings for Mass this weekend are calling us to, quote, contribute all that we have to the Lord and to His service. You know, I was talking with Father Joe last week, and he reminded me that he just hit his 1-year anniversary mark as the Vicar for Clergy for the diocese. Happy anniversary, Father Joe. It's hard to believe that it's already been a year since Father Joe took on this new assignment and had to say farewell as the pastor of St. Joseph's Parish. As Father Joe became the Vicar for Clergy for the diocese, he was incredibly helpful to me, getting me on board here at the parish, and I continue to lean on him a lot up to this day. One of the pieces of wisdom that he shared with me from his years of being a pastor was whenever he had to make a decision about something that needed to be done, he would ask himself, okay, is this a want or is this a need, right? I think this is a really good check to run through, and it can be a really good guide for helping us to grow in our lives as disciples of Christ and grow in our call to contribute all to God and to His service. You know, as Catholics, as Christians, as disciples of Christ, our talents, our possessions, our wealth, our abilities, our time, do we look at these things as our own, or do we see these things as gifts given to us by God, intended to be used for His purposes? You know, all that we have has been given to us by God, and He calls us to be stewards of these things, right? Stewards, responsibly managing what we have and seeking to use these goods for love of God and love of neighbor, rather than our own wants, right? Our own just kind of selfish security or our comfort or our pleasure. This stewardship mindset calls us to have great faith in God's providence and God's promises. You know, we find this kind of faith in our first reading from the widow of Zarephath, who chose to make a little cake for the prophet Elijah. She knew this was the last food that she had for her and her son, but she trusted in Elijah's words that God would take care of them. Similarly, Jesus praises the poor widow in the gospel who gave God her 2 small coins, revealing her deep faith and her deep love for God. So may we look to these 2 examples of faith, and may we be inspired to steward the gifts that we've been given for love of God and love of neighbor, rather than simply our own wants. Okay, next. I recently spoke at all the Masses last weekend about this call to come and see Jesus in our Eucharistic Adoration Chapel for just 15 minutes this month. If you didn't get one of those come and see cards, you can pick one up in the office during normal office hours, or you can pick one up in the Adoration Chapel. We should have some there on the sign-in table. Some folks who hadn't been to Adoration before were wondering actually what happens there. What do you do there, or what do you see? Well, on the surface, it may not look like much is happening at all. You know, when you come to the Adoration Chapel, you'll come in and you'll see the Blessed Sacrament, which is a consecrated host. You'll see the Blessed Sacrament being held in this monstrance, this gold large vessel that we have. It'll just be sitting on the altar there. There might only be 1 or 2 other people along there with you, and they're just praying quietly. So you can come in, you can take a seat, or you can kneel down, and then just spend that 15 minutes with Jesus in the silence. You know, it's kind of like when you sit outside on a sunny day. You know, the light from the sun hits your skin, it warms you, and if you spend enough time in the sun, you might even get a little bit of a tan. Similarly, being in the presence of the Son, S-O-N, in the presence of the Son in Eucharistic adoration, His invisible light is touching you and changing your heart. It may not feel like a lot is happening in adoration in the moment, but you can trust that Jesus' loving gaze is healing your heart like nothing else can. And when you come to the chapel, don't forget to drop off that come and see card in a little box that'll be there. Okay, next, at the 10:30 Mass this weekend on Sunday, we'll be honoring our veterans. A happy early Veterans Day to all of our veterans. Active duty military members from our parish will have their names read at this Mass, and at the end of Mass, we will process outside to our flagpoles, where we will place a Veterans Memorial wreath to honor all of the men and women who protect, serve, and defend our country. Thank you to all of our veterans, especially those veterans who were able to join us at this 10:30 Mass this Sunday. May God bless you always and protect you, and may God bless the United States of America. And lastly, our parish will be offering a sensory-friendly Mass on Monday, November 11th at 6:30 p.m., so this coming Monday. What is a sensory-friendly Mass? Well, it's a Mass where the environment will be more sensitive and more inviting to people with different developmental disabilities. So there will be low lighting, soft music, a short homily, and a welcoming atmosphere for those who have different needs. After Mass, there will be a light reception in HFC, and all are welcome to attend. And we ask you to please share this invitation with others that you might think would be interested in this sensory-friendly Mass. Okay, that's it for this weekend. Please know of my continued prayers for you, and I will see you at Mass. St. Joseph, most chaste, pray for us. God bless.